Jen, how are you? I'm super excited to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, I mean, Jen, we've been discussing for quite a while, and I'm really happy that we had a chance to do this one. I'm really excited and interested about the topics we are going to discuss today because you've done so much in the e-commerce space, the depth of knowledge and the experience all over the years. So, how are you? What are you working on these days?
Well, these days I'm the vice president of partnerships over at Hawke Media. So we're a full service marketing agency. We were just recognized as the top performance marketing agency in the US by Digital Marketing News. So I oversee our tech partnerships, I oversee strategic alliances. And yeah, I've been in the partnership space for some time. So feels great to be with the best of the best over at Hawke.
Yeah, so what it involves, and I know you have a lot of partners from variety of technologies and the workflows and services. I mean, let's dive in a little bit, try to explain more what it means, how the teams look like, and what are, your major responsibilities.
Yeah. So we have a team of 200. We're based in Los Angeles, Santa Monica, and we have just over 500 clients over management. So we do full service marketing. That's everything from paid media all the way down to the retention marketing side. And in partnerships, I oversee a team of four. So I have four partner managers that work with me. And then we are, really the cheerleaders and the advocates for Hawke, like on the front lines. So we're working on building relationships, sourcing new tech partners that add value and bring value to our current clients and also to our prospective clients. So we're always like solution architecting, and we're always on the hunt for just like best in class new technology that could help enhance the client experience. And really, when it comes to partnerships, it's all about just creating win-win opportunities for both parties. So, in partnerships, taking that like rising tide lifts all boats approach, and looking at what solutions are best suited for the partner in the agency. That's everything from partners like Vimy all the way to partners like Klaviyo, and Google and Meta, etc. So
Interesting. So what will be, without again mentioning probably names, what will be an ideal engagement? Can you describe this win-win setup?
yeah, I mean, really, it's a lot of like, it goes past the transactional, right? Like thinking about
Hmm.
truly bringing value to each other's businesses. And I feel like whoever that we do business with on the partner side, it should be enjoyable. Like you have to like the people that you're partnered up with, that you're
Yeah.
doing business with, because it just makes the work that much more enjoyable. So, like thinking about partnerships, thinking about creating win-wins, the first like litmus test that I always do with any partner is, do you feel like you can have good conversation with this individual? A partner of mine the other day, we were talking about like what really makes a good partner. And it was kind of the like soft skills kind of process. Like, would you want to be sitting on an airplane with this person for like 6 hours and, have conversation? No, if,
Yeah.
if the answer is no, then they're probably not a good partner. So moving past the transactional and really looking at, building true relationships and bringing true value. And that could look different to every partner. What's important to your business may not be important to an advertising partner's business, et cetera. So we really have to think in a couple different directions on the partnerships team in that regard.
Yes, it's very, very interesting what you said. I mean, going like back to the basics, having this human touch, trying to build things together between people. This is something that I hear a lot from all my guests, by the way, in the podcast, and also from brand and retailers that I talk to every day. Uh, and I think it has various reasons. Probably one of them is the rise of AI. People want to know that they are not spending time with bots and
Mm-hmm.
really with real people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
definitely any partnerships is like a relationship, right? It's like building some kind of a foundation of trust, and working together to achieve some kind of a success. How
Hmm.
these partnerships are perceived by your customers, right? By the brands, by retailers. Is it
Yeah.
because you're providing them variety of obviously services, technologies, consulting, also implementation? How this is perceived, and how is this usually implemented from the customer side?
Yeah. Yeah. So really, we're an extension of that client's business. And, we're really on the front lines as kind of these scouts. What's
Hmm.
the newest technology, latest technology? Yes. But is it sustainable? Like, there's some partners that they may not be viable, or they may not have a good stronghold in the market. So we wouldn't want to bring them in until they're more established, as an example. So, a lot of those businesses that are just like flashes in the pan, or here today, gone tomorrow, just wouldn't be good fits, because we're looking at like long-term growth. We're looking at sustainable growth for our clients.
Yeah.
So what we do anytime we engage in a new client relationship, we ask the client, what are you working on? What are you trying to solve right now in your business? And we take a strategic consultative approach. And with that information that we gather back during onboarding, we uncover partnership opportunities where we can
Hmm.
make, warm introductions and connections into those partners that are valuable, that are, based in actual needs of the business. And sometimes a client says, "Oh, we need X, we need Y, we need Z." And then when Hawke goes in and we do our audit, we say, "Actually, it's just X and Y that you need right now, and we'll scale into Z." So we'll build that
Hmm.
roadmap, which allows us to tap in partners at the appropriate time in their client engagement.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. And what do you see now happening in the market in terms of where are the areas that brands are looking to improve? Is it on the back end supply chain, SKUs reduction, or is it on the marketing side, more on the the advertising campaign, omni-channel? What are the key areas that you see brands are focused these days?
All of it. So,
Okay.
what happens is we talk to someone and we start getting into their, top of funnel and their advertising strategy. And then we start uncovering that their meta strategy may not be talking to their Google strategy. They may
Hmm.
have just scratched the surface on TikTok, but they're not implementing a TikTok shop or an influencer strategy. So there's opportunity to like layer in certain strategies. And, when we dive deep, we find on the advertising side, just activating specific strategies, based on timing and like rate of scale for like efficiency for ad spend, and ultimately just making sure that, their spend is going towards the right audience, et cetera. So it's a lot of optimization on the advertising side of the business typically.
Hmm.
Or a brand has launched an advertising strategy and they've plateaued, and they're like, what's next? How do we uncover more opportunities? And there might be opportunity that lies in their retention marketing or their life cycle strategy, which includes SMS, email, etc., or
Hmm.
loyalty and membership to get repeat customers going back. So, we'll look at every strategy and tap in like our growth experts, but we'll also quarterback different strategies to ensure that they're talking to one another and complementing one another, the strategies that is. And then when it comes to supply chain, really it's efficiency. So, if
Hmm.
we're advising on supply chain, if a brand has a brick and mortar store, or if they need distributed inventory, like what does their warehousing solutions look like? Because we have a network of logistic partners that we can bring in. And sustainability is top of mind in the
Wow.
logistics and supply chain space,
Hmm.
because you have stuff coming in from a manufacturer. If it's coming in through the port of Long Beach, there's that consideration of freight, that there's like carbon and very just like negative, like a lot of those solutions have like negative impacts to the environment. And brands that are thinking with like a sustainable first mindset, or with the environment first, they want to bring in partners throughout the whole entire ecosystem that are sustainable. So we help source those partners, and can advise. So sustainability has been top of mind for many brands. Also, AI. So the efficiency factor in being able to, it's like the old adage of like achieving more with less kind of thing.
Hmm.
But it's just creating just a shorter time cycle between, point A and point B, to just be able to do business more efficiently, which helps as more brands are scaling up and expanding.
Yes, and obviously, sorry, there are like very specific probably projects that customers said, "Hey, I need to improve my targeting. I need to improve my analytics side. I need to do something very specific," right? And then you can tailor a solution around that. But sometimes they will also come with like, "Hey, why don't you do some analysis of how we operate, give us recommendation and improvement, right? And then probably
Mhm.
help us with the implementation." So there are obviously various engagement types that you see, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Because, you know, um, on the operational efficiency side and just like creating streamlined operations throughout the entire business process, we use a process called Hawke AI, which will benchmark a brand against 5,000 plus brands that we've worked with over the past 10 years. And we can say, okay, K Swiss, this is where you sit in the competitive landscape in footwear, and see where that white space is against competitors, to then advise and say, well, we forecast if you increase spend on this channel, that we'll see a lift in profitability, a lift in revenue, a lift in conversions in this area. So we're able to uncover the white space by doing that Hawk AI reporting process. And it gives us a good baseline and a foundation of where to start with our strategy. And all of that's zero party data. We own that data. We've worked with those brands, over the past 10 years. So, that really gives us a good, competitive
Yeah.
advantage as an agency. And it also gives our brands that we work with a competitive advantage.
Yes, I mean, understanding analytics, right? And
Mhm.
definitely like omni-channel analytics, and also for the definitely for those brands or retailers that have like an offline and online type of businesses, it's very difficult to understand where this purchase came from, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
very difficult to understand whether you are overpriced or you pay too much on a specific channel. Um, like doing like overpaid media in some channel. So these are like really, I think, serious pain points that maybe AI will help. Obviously, AI has a major role in this type of aspects, and I know that you're doing a very, very innovative work around that area. Where do you see AI is still, you know, implemented? Is it more on the cost reduction side? Is it more content side?
Yeah.
Where do you see AI implemented these days?
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of innovative AI solutions being plugged in across the entire customer journey.
Hmm.
So, AI, when it comes to creative, we have partners that will look at customer reviews as an example. And
Hmm.
the AI algorithm will look at what products have the highest review. Those are, bestsellers, most popular products, but it'll
Yeah.
also scrape that against the advertising algorithm, and like the distribution algorithm. So there's a higher likelihood of conversion for those creatives. So there's also, tests that are done on the back end too. If the model doesn't know what direction to go in, it'll run
Hmm.
two at the same time until one's a winner. And it tends to get just a lot of the, like, because things can sit in the learning phase if they're just sitting like in the meta platform, as an example, because there's not enough data. So it brings in that other data set of the customer reviews and runs an AI algorithm to have a higher likelihood of conversion. So there's like a lot of innovative integrations that are happening on the creative and advertising side.
Hmm.
Also, there's on the Shopify side of the business, we're a Shopify Plus agency. We work with a
Hmm.
lot of brands that sell on the Shopify platform, and you can talk to the back end of your Shopify now. So back in the day, analysts would have to go in, pull all your revenue numbers, pull things by channel, consolidate all that information. Nowadays, an analyst, chat GPT style, can say, show me my last 6 months of revenue. And then boom,
Yeah.
it just pulls all the data. So, it creates more efficiencies, less downtime. We're able to make decisions faster, able to go to market faster, able to get through tests quicker, things like that. So that's another innovative AI through a company called Market AI, working with Shopify. Also on the customer support side. So, we have the chat bots now where you can like talk and say, one of the most popular ones is Wizmo, where is my order? That's the most popular one that happens on the Shopify
Okay.
store. People are looking for their orders. Now, there are AI chat solutions that create the customer support function seamlessly and will tap in a human in the loop when it's needed. So, not nobody wants to talk to a bot all day long. You can kind of tell when something's like body. But
Sure.
there's solutions that are out there that are like natural and native that, it doesn't feel like you're talking to a robot in cyberspace. It answers the most frequent questions because it's just a quick connection of the data dots. But when it's something that requires a human, then human gets tapped in. So we're seeing that functionality when it comes to AI in the CX space as well.
Yes. Yes. Very, very interesting. What are your thoughts on today's customer acquisition? I mean, I hear from every brand, from everyone that I've talked to an interview that brand acquisition has changed. It's very, very difficult these days.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have your feedback. What do you hear from your side, and what are the some of the really working strategies that are effective these days in terms of customer acquisition?
Yeah, well, when it comes to customer acquisition, it's really the consideration and, kind of like marketing 101 that you want to ensure that, you are connecting to the right audience.
Hmm.
We've seen kind of these strategies where we've done an audit and there's just like no traction on a campaign, but that campaign's still running and it's just like, just
Hmm.
spend is just going out the door just because it was like on a set it and forget it type of schedule. So, like a thorough
Wow.
inspection
Yeah.
just from the entire, funnel, all channels, just to ensure that it's working properly. And then
Hmm.
also, looking past the digital channels. So there's a lot of like offline strategies that shouldn't be ignored either. So you know, uh, like showing up where it matters when it comes to like offline strategies or even like
Hmm.
connected TV. So you need to be thinking about brand equity, brand awareness, yes, but that should be leading to down the customer acquisition path as well. So customer acquisition costs, it's no secret that they're like on the rise. It costs more to acquire a customer. But that could just be like a channel consideration. So
Hmm.
if you're diversifying on channels and you're like doubling down on a channel that's working, or you're merchandising differently on channels, for example, selling different product on Amazon, your Amazon customer may look much different than your Target customer or your Walmart customer if you're selling in marketplaces. So ensuring that the right product mix is aligned with the right marketplace is important too, and that your paid ad strategy too is connected and specific to channel. Creating things that are channel specific is important.
Yes. Yes. And in terms of the multi-channel approach, I know that a lot of brands are looking to expand their channel outreach. They want to sell where their shoppers are spending time, whether it's on social or other marketplaces. And there was a latest report from Shopify that a lot of the brands are using multiple channels, sometimes even 10, right? And a lot of these brands, most of their sales are out of the Shopify, their own domain storefronts, right? So
Mhm.
how do you see this trend expanding, and what are some of the challenges that they needs to be aware of?
Yeah, I mean the biggest challenge is resources and being able to track it all. Because if you're, if you're
Hmm.
selling into 10 channels, then you need to ensure that you have eyes on all those channels for efficiency. So
Yeah.
we've seen brands that will like launch a B2B strategy, or they're, working on getting into big retailers.
Hmm.
And then, as they're marching down that path, that's starting to grow. But then their D2C business, because there hasn't been attention there, that, tends to wane. So creating this like scalable approach where when you put efforts over here, you're not losing your efforts over there. So
Hmm.
just having, strong management on all sides of the house, and ensuring that you have like strong leadership that will look at the right metrics and ultimately ensure that you're not, losing profit, or you're not losing time. It's
Yes.
just efficiency more than anything else. And then
Efficiency.
just
Yeah.
resources, it's another big one that we see too, is like a lean team. And then but for us, we can plug in where those gaps are, so we can help them scale, essentially, as like an extension of their business. So just ensuring that the right eyes and the right people are tracking the right metrics on those channels.
Exactly. So definitely putting the right eyes on the channels, getting the data right to holistically observe what is going on and try to come up with some, insightful decisions about next campaigns and where to spend the budget and everything. And I feel this is an area that obviously there is a lot of potential and improvement. This is one of the definitely the major trends for the next years. I want to talk to you also about brand positioning, brand building. I know you also have a lot of experience around that. What some
Hmm.
of the challenges that you see around the brand positioning these days?
Yeah, I think when brands try to get like too fancy with it, it's like too much. Where it's like the simplest solution is often the best solution. So
Hmm.
breaking down, I think about Simon Sinek, like coming back to
Yeah.
the why. Why does this brand exist in the marketplace? What problem is this brand solving?
Hmm.
What is the real true key differentiator that's like, the just really just outstanding attribute of this brand, and making that stand out in all of your forward facing marketing. Thinking about who this brand is made for, who it's going to appeal to. Does that mean we're doing, like bright, fun colors, or we're more muted? Or so the color aspect and the feel of the brand
Hmm.
is so important. And making sure that the creative and like the language and the copy and all of that speaks to it. So you know, keeping the feeling and the true essence of the brand just alive through all of your communications, even through the
Yes.
human communications, and brand building. It can be, I think the biggest challenge is like just trying to get too fancy with it, sticking to the basics and to the true, like, this is why we exist. This is why we go to market, and who we are, and just
Yes.
keeping it simple.
That's another big theme of going back to the basics, right? Trying to understand who we are, what we are strong at, making the strong stronger, and try
Hmm.
and try, not to win every war out there, right? Pick your battles, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
100%.
Jen, what are some of the trends that you see right now in e-commerce, or specifically on the digital marketing side? How do you see 2024 evolving for the market?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we touched on it a bit, but AI. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of automations and a lot of learnings that are happening in the artificial intelligence space. So that's starting to really have more of a stronghold in 2024. Also, the personalization. So now that we're back to a sense of, I want to say normal, but like nothing's ever normal. Just a sense of, normalcy
Hmm.
in person. So like I'm here at e-tail, and I've run into old friends, new friends on the brand side, on the partner side. And one thing
Yeah.
that really resonated with a lot of the brands is like, oh, it's so good to see you in person. It's been years. So
Yes.
like the personalization and the human connectivity. So it's funny, AI is starting to really take off in a big way, but so is personal connectivity. So we're doing a lot of like strategic planning in person with our clients now. So it's like the whiteboarding, really strategizing, because when folks are together in person, there's that element of just connectivity and creativity that happens that we feel it here, in the digital space, but
Hmm.
we feel it tenfold, because when we finish a session, have a lunch, then we're like celebrating and like um, giving a hug and see you next time, and then there's
Yes.
like the human element. So um,
W-
bringing that human element back to things, and also
We are.
personalization. Yeah.
I mean, we are social creatures, right? We need a hug. That's
Yeah.
that's
Hugs
a
are good.
very hugs are good. Yeah, oxytocin, boosters. So it's uh,
Yeah.
it's very
Release
very
those
important.
endorphins. Release that serotonin, all the happy
Yes,
chemicals.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, we are social creatures. We like to hang out together. Definitely after COVID. So really great for all the shows and conventions to come back, and it's definitely part of the my yearly plan as well.
Hmm.
Um, so Jen, what's some of the tips you can provide to your partners, like the technology company side, that trying to come into the U.S. market and trying to promote their products?
Yeah, yeah. So, launching in the US, coming into the US from another market overseas, there's a lot of considerations as far as like landed goods, how much inventory you'll need, all of that. And then understanding if you're going to be in a specific geo area. And then having those be kind of your like pillars that you then build your advertising and marketing strategy around. If you're looking at selling in store, what does that process look like? What does that timeline look like? And is that something that can work on the background while D2C is ramping up? So creating like a strategic roadmap for at least the first 2 years, but not being so like strict to that too,
Hmm.
because different things can happen quicker, different things might take a little longer. So like a
Okay.
scalable kind of accordion approach, and then like progress over perfection every day, because there's learnings to be had. Like you might go to market and then discover your California market is showing you learnings that you weren't expecting, or
Hmm.
perhaps you're seeing these pockets of success in the Northeast that you're like, I wasn't expecting that. So not being held to the like planning or the expectation, letting the data and the consumer data really tell the story, and then knowing when to pivot and pivot quick to
Yeah.
when changes need to be made. So just being nimble, flexible, and then just have a strategic plan that you can be flexible with if need be, I think is important.
Yes, I mean, having this agile mindset, right? And both from the like moving fast, of course, but also from the technology side, make the technology flexible and adapt to quick changes that are required in the market. And obviously for US market, which is such a big one, definitely in e-commerce, is going to have like a company-wide commitment for making this a success.
Hmm.
Jen, I want
Hmm.
to talk to you about so many other things, and I want to talk about many things that you do. Some of them are related to work, some of them are not. I want to talk about the root effect, indie village, groups in Hawaii, things that you do in India. So,
Hmm.
what's so first? Maybe you're very passionate in the industry. You have been doing this for quite a while. What's keep you excited about about our industry, and probably later let's talk a little bit about many of the other things that you do.
Yeah. So, our industry is ever evolving, which for me is what keeps it exciting.
Yeah.
I like knowing that I'm waking up every day and every day is going to be different. There's, new challenges, there's new technologies, there's investments, there's always something happening in our world. That's in the name of progress, because as technology progresses, the way that we shop, the way that we, consume content, the way that we just go to market as brands just changes on the daily. So
Hmm.
keeping a pulse on that has always excited me, and the connectivity of culture, being able to do like global business. I'm here and you're like way across the other side of the world, and a different time zone, different day probably.
Yeah.
But here we are, having the same conversation, working on solving the same challenges. So to me, that's really what keeps me going, is our community, and the banding together of our community to solve big challenges and to really face the market together. That's why I founded the Root Effect. So the Root Effect is a collective, really. So it's more of a collective of partners, which allowed me to plug into my current role at Hawke and not be a one woman show too. So
Hmm.
um, going from like consultant to VP was like a natural progression, because now I have a team, which is fantastic,
Hmm.
and I'm still able to work closely with my partners and just bring my whole network in to solve these big challenges. So yeah, working together to solve big challenges and to evolve with the market is really what excites me, and what has kept me going for so long. Because I've been at it a while. Like when I was in e-commerce before, like Shopify was even around. So, that's like 10 plus years now. So
Yeah.
it's been an interesting journey, and just watching everything evolve has been really interesting.
Tell us about the indie village and you bring girls to code from India.
Yeah. So, very passionate about technology. Also, very passionate about just leveling the playing field for opportunity. So, I do a lot of social impact work, and had the opportunity to work with a group called Indie Village, to help
Hmm.
scale their marketing, business development efforts, and social impact efforts. So, Indie Village is a nonprofit, and bridging the gap between rural areas and Silicon Valley. So I worked on a project that helped bring girls who code to rural India, because a lot of girls, a lot of women don't have access to education. They don't have access to economic opportunity. So creating those access points, where they really matter, will ultimately help teach skills that will help lift these groups out of poverty. So there's a lot of impoverished areas that are just so rural. It's like, 10, 12 hours from a major city, which
Yeah.
means limited access to healthcare, limited access to clean drinking water, limited access to education. So just creating opportunities and connecting these opportunities back to Silicon Valley. So learning how to code. There was a lot of gals that I talked to in India that were young, that wanted to learn a skill, but they just didn't
Hmm.
have the means or the access to do so. So now there's several chapters that are stood up there, and then Indie Village, that group, they do a lot of data annotation. So groups in Silicon Valley that have very strong AI components or machine learning components, they
Yeah.
need to annotate data to be able to train the model. So teaching that skill set in those rural areas has allowed to create new opportunities economically that just didn't exist in that area before. So very rewarding. Um, what's interesting is I almost got stuck in India during COVID. So when I worked on that
Wow.
project pre-COVID, and went and met with the schools, everything, and then I came back. It was like around this time in 2020, and they asked, "Hey, have you been to China in the past 2 weeks?" Nope. Okay, you can get back on the plane. But if I would have left 1 week later from India, I would have been stuck there during COVID.
Wow.
So it was
Wow.
important work, and we were able to keep that project going through COVID, by providing like laptops and different educational elements, just as a donation, so that way the workers could still have the economic opportunity and work from home in rural India with laptops. That's really, you need internet, you need a laptop, and you can work. So we were able to like pivot quick during COVID too,
Nice.
which was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, India is an amazing place, whether you like it or you don't, but I've been there for maybe more than 50 times at least during my career, and spend a lot of time in very, very, remote areas in India, building variety of telecom and video projects. And it's amazing. I mean, sometimes you go to a place, they don't have, probably you need to walk like 3 minutes to drink something or to the bathroom, but they have internet like everywhere, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
coding, or they're doing something over the web, and it's really fascinating place. You have
Mm-hmm.
some of the richest people and mansions and hotels, and some of the poor areas like that is, you can even imagine. So
Mm-hmm.
crazy
Yeah,
place.
I know. It's the land of extremes.
Yes.
And it's just one of the many countries where our youth needs support, our women need support, because we're very fortunate here in the United States for women to have access, for children to have access, but that's not the case in all countries. So we have a lot of work to do to level the playing field, and it's something that I'm very
Yes.
passionate about. And something I'll continue to do no matter where my main career
Really?
focus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. 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 Great, Jen. So this is the fun fact part of the episode. And I know you have a lot of fun facts, but maybe you choose two or three and share with us.
Yeah. So I'd say a fun fact that most folks don't know about me professionally, is that I'm an improv comic. So I'm a
Wow.
comedian. Yep. I perform once a month at the National Comedy Theater in San Diego, California, where I'm based.
Wow.
And, that came from just a love of musical theater. So I'm a recovering musical theater artist.
Mm-hmm.
Had the opportunity to do some work in that space in college. I played Frenchie in Greece. So I always really admired just good, like comedic timing on stage, and just had a love for just performance and just acting and comedy. So, fun fact, I am an improv comic. You can come see me. My team name is Joke and Dagger.
Okay.
It's a great time. If you're ever in San Diego, stop on by. It's a ton of fun.
Definitely. Wow, I must.
Yeah.
Really, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's one of the fun facts. I have more if you want to know more, but
Okay,
that's
let's
probably
do another one.
another fun fact. I'm a singer in a rock band, so I sing and
Wow.
play the piano, and I'm in a band. So every Thursday night, we get together, we practice, we do covers, and it's just a fun creative outlet for me. That is just
Amazing.
very, very rewarding, very enjoyable.
I mean, music and comedy, good for the soul, right? Releasing all this pressure,
So good
reducing
for
the
the soul.
clutter. Yeah.
So good for the
Well
soul.
done. Well done. Great balanced life, Jen.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Living life to the fullest.
Yes. Yes. Right, Jen. Anything you want to add?
Um, I would just say, anybody who's dreaming big dreams, just go after those dreams. I'm a big believer in, if you have an idea, bring it to life. Um, if you fail, that's all right. Fail forward. Keep on keeping on. And just bring more kindness and heart into our world every day and into our business practices every day, I think is good. No one wants to do business with like a cold, buttoned up type of person, even if you do know all the
Yeah.
facts, you know all the things. Bringing some heart and soul into work every day, I think is important. So
Yeah, that's a very, very good summary. Thank you so much. Jen, where is the best place for people to find you?
yes, so you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Jen Root, Jenroot, Root, VP of Partnerships at Hawke Media. So hawkemedia.com, HOWKE Media, MEDIA.com. And yeah, you can find me there on the website, find me on LinkedIn. Email jroot@hawkemedia.com is another way to reach out.
Great. So, Jen, thank you very much. I know you're in the middle of e-tail, so really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Great. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye bye.